Paul, Brett Rohde, Rick Siemens, and special guests tonight. We've got Steve and Kim Peacock from Garland City. Steve's on this Garland City Council. Is that correct? Well, thank you for coming out tonight. We're glad you're here. Let's see. To start with, I've asked if Rick Siemens could give us a prayer, and Wesley step and offer the pledge. We are going to say a prayer, and if anybody is uncomfortable with us saying a prayer, you're welcome to step outside for a little bit. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and get started. Rick?
Our Father in heaven, we're indeed grateful for the opportunity which we have this evening to meet together. We're grateful for this great city that we live in, the many blessings which we have and enjoy here, and the great citizens that are here within our community. Wilt thou be with us? Bless us with thy spirit, that we may fill of thy love and know of thy concern, and bless us that we might be able to discuss the things that are pertinent and important to the city. Bless us in our decisions and help us that we might discuss things cordially and might be able to do thy will in all that we do. And we pray for these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Audience, please rise.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Do we have any conflicts of interest we need to declare at this time? Okay. Approval of the agenda. Make a motion there.
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda for this evening.
It's been
I'll
moved.
second that.
Moved by Brett and seconded by Connie that we approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Approval of the minutes for January 18th, 2022.
Make a motion we approve the minutes for January 18th, 2022.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved by Rick and seconded by Wes that we approve the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All righty. Public comments. This is an opportunity to address the city council regarding your concerns or ideas. We ask this time that you limit your comments to about 3 minutes, and we will take time if we need to respond to to your comments, or if you have questions for us, we can respond to those. If we don't have the answers for those questions immediately this evening, we will be getting back with you with the answer in 2 or 3 days. So, time is now yours.
Never talked in front of council before, so I'm a little nervous.
Oh, we're pretty scary, I'll tell you.
So my name is Mike Linford, and my mom's name is Marianne Matney Valenta, and she has recently just published a book on the history of Tremont. It's 400 pages, and she asked that I come here tonight and give each one of you a copy.
Awesome.
Wow.
So if you don't mind, is it okay if I come around here?
Oh,
and
absolutely.
hand it out?
We're excited. This has been something that's been floating around on social media for the last several days, and it's garnered a lot of interest.
How long did this take?
You know, it took her about 20 years, but she had some times where she kind of just had to set it down for some kind of family issues.
Hey, I want to throw a blow.
Thank you.
Could we get her to sign them?
She already did.
Oh, look at,
And Lyle's even has his name in it. That's why they'll post it.
oh, well, there you go.
Oh.
Oh, that's really neat. This is, she has taken, this is the
Thank you.
result of tons of research that,
Lyle Vance is not here, but
I got it covered right here.
look at him.
And just to let y'all know, kind of my background. So my family's been here for 6 generations, and my great-great-grandpa actually there he is right there. Thanks for putting that up. So he was one of the original settlers here before Tremont was here. He was one of the founders of Tremonton. and he was one of the early mayors along with Lyle's grandpa.
Yeah,
So
that's
they were
right.
contemporaries way back in the day. And this happens to be him in front of his store on Main Street, Tremont. And I'm wondering if anybody can guess where that is on Main Street.
Today? Ooh.
Yeah, today.
Oh,
Let's
It's
just,
obviously not still there, but
oh, it isn't?
no.
oh, let's guess just Main Street and Tremont Street. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not too far away from that. It's actually where the Tremonton Pharmacy is.
I was like,
Not too
okay,
far from you.
Gephart's.
Yeah, that building right there next to it
Gephardt's.
is
So that's where his building was, and actually his farm was out
That's
there. You
yours.
guys might know Ben Hunsaker.
Yeah,
That was his farm.
Yeah.
back in the day.
yeah, I do.
So just to give you a little bit of background. And if y'all read that and you have any questions, contact me or my mom. I know Sean has my contact info and Lyle does as well. So
beautiful.
This
hope
is-
y'all enjoy it.
This is gorgeous.
Information in there. Ton.
Tons of research,
Can
tons
you,
of time and
A lot of
labor of love.
one of these in our library?
She's gonna put one there.
Okay,
And they're also for sale. If you know anybody that wants one, she has them for sale at Feldman's.
okay.
Okay.
She wanted y'all to have it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So
So
nice.
anytime.
Thank you.
That is incredible. Thank you so much.
Look at the back, the book
Dr.
tonight.
White.
That was worth just running for council just for that.
Yeah, there you go. You're not kidding. That is so great.
That is
So
beautiful.
I'm curious where the sort of the tagline, Mike, where did the tagline, and then they came by train? Is there some significance to that?
There is. So, the railroad obviously came back through here in 1869. And so the railroad was given a bunch of land in exchange for the construction of the railroad. So all this land was owned by the railroad. And so the railroad sold it to different groups. One of the groups being from Iowa, one of the groups from Tremont, Illinois, Tremonton. So they basically all came here by train to build this farming community.
Yeah, that's great. Perfect. All right. Any other public comments?
I got one right there. A real good thing right there on the author's note. In the end, sometimes we're so anxious to leave the valleys of our birth, but we don't realize what we're leaving.
There you go.
Gotta have a little something to do why we all want to stay here.
There you go. Right on.
Where did you?
That was in the author's notes, right?
All right. All right, let's move on here. Years of service. Greg, come on up here. You've been waiting for this for how long? For 15 years. You've been waiting for this opportunity.
You're sure we're not firing me right now, right?
That's tomorrow.
Sometimes we're so.
This is, we appreciate all that you do, Greg. I mean, you've got a job that probably nobody in the world would like to have. And you do such a great job with it, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job.
We appreciate you so much. Thank you. Oh, wow. Well, there you,
We told them there was cookies and there wasn't, so they're leaving. Hey, Lyle, how can I do this and be politically correct on, I've seen these years of service, and I think there's one department that's somewhat been left out of years of service that was volunteer service, but our fire department. I'm on it, it's
Yeah.
not me that I'm talking about here, but you've had some pretty dedicated people there that has been kind of a thankless job. I know with years of service, they give them a few bucks and all that on something like that, but I think our fire department has been overlooked because we were just part-time,
well, I think that's comments well taken. Sean, can we?
I mean, we can look
Lindsay, I
into
don't know.
something.
Have the fire chief work on that.
Yeah, that's point well taken.
I mean, we've lost a lot already,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I think there's been a lot of thankless hours put into
Oh, yeah.
for them guys.
We appreciate them, and, they do some things that make a
Paid
big
another
difference
house
to our
Sunday,
community.
so,
We
yeah,
Appreciate, well, fire just the other day.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Does your mom live here?
Actually, she lives in Texas,
Mm-hmm.
but she comes here 4 times a year for a month. And we still own great grandpa's house.
Yeah.
It's in the family for like 115 years. So she happens to actually be here right now. She was a little
Whoa.
shy to come to the meeting.
Oh, that's too
All right.
bad.
Well, tell her hello and tell her thank you so much.
I sure
Yes.
All right, let's move on here. Discussion and consideration, this is some new business we have for tonight. Discussion and consideration of approving the December 2021 financial statements.
I'll make a motion, we approve the December 2021 financial statements.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved by Brett and seconded by Connie that we approve the 2021 financial statements. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I'm pretty sure I don't have to say that, but. Discussion and consideration of approving the December 2021 warrant register.
I'll make a motion that we approve the December 2021 warrant register.
Okay,
I'll second.
been moved by Wes and seconded by Rick. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, very good. Discussion and consideration of adopting resolution number 22-07, appointing a Tremonton City representative to serve as a member of the Box Elder County Mosquito Abatement District Board from 2022 to 2025. Sean?
Mark, good. So I
Oh, Mark? I
talked
guess
to the
Mark-
council last time about this, and James Walker was willing and able and expressed interest in doing it. So for the past 8 years, David Jones has represented Tremonton City, and he's asked to be relieved of his duties. And so
8 years.
where the Box Elder Mosquito Abatement District's board meetings are on the same night as city council meeting, we found a representative from Tremonton City based off of actually the district's recommendations. He has background. He's worked for the district as a seasonal employee, and they were thrilled to have him on if the council would appoint him. And this is James Walker.
Okay. Are there any questions from the council?
No,
I'll make 'em.
I approve the motion that we adopt resolution number 2207.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, motion by Brett and seconded by Connie. This is a resolution, so, let's see. Rick?
Aye.
Brett, aye.
Connie Archibald, aye.
Wes, aye.
Okay, motion passes. Appreciate James for his willingness to serve our community and help out. There's nobody that's more appreciated sometimes in the summertime than the people that are out there spraying for mosquitoes. So appreciate that. Discussion and consideration of approving resolution number 22-08, creating the position of finance director, appointing Curtis Roberts to the position of finance director, and approving a professional services agreement with Curtis as the financial director. Sean, I think this one's you, isn't it?
It is, yes. You all know Curtis very well, and the state code, we've always thought of Curtis as the finance director. He's a CPA. You know, he's been with the city for over 20 years. But in order to actually have him fill that position, the state code requires that we create it through an ordinance or resolution. So the proposed resolution would create, as the mayor read, the position. It would appoint Curtis in that position, and then the professional service agreement would sort of govern the terms of his employment. He'd be an independent contractor, as he always has been, in helping us with our finances. So unless there's any questions.
With it a new position, don't we need to post it and let other people apply?
Well, no, I would say that, and I can show you our purchase policy. It allows you to appoint and enter into contracts with professional services and exempt action. meaning exempt from going through a formal procurement process. And so, Curtis is obviously well qualified. He's been doing it for 20 years. I can't think of any person who knows the history of the city better, than Curtis.
And that's not in question at all. I just want to
Yeah.
make sure we're following due process.
And I just say that for the public's benefit, to sort of explain, why, in my opinion, that this qualifies for an exemption that you would want to exercise.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
Is this the same thing that he's been doing in the past, and there's not much difference in,
No, I mean,
other than
so,
we're just giving him a title?
right. So for a city of a fifth class like we are currently, and we're on the verge of being a fourth class city, we got the census numbers, and I think it came in at 9,886, something like that. So when we hit the 10,000 population, we'll be a city of a fourth class. But regardless of that, that was just a little trivia and factoid. Lindsay has financial duties as the city recorder, and so those duties can be segregated from her position through this creation of the finance director. And it's not unusual. A city recorder doesn't necessarily always have the financial background or CPA or the qualifications that a certified public accountant would have. And so a lot of cities do, just what we've done in practice. We've called Curtis that, but we've never officially had him in that position. So.
Same rate and everything, nothing really changed on that side. It's just the title, like Brett said.
It does change in the sense that, one of the things, I had a conversation with Curtis, and I told him I felt like the city was getting to a point where we actually needed more resources as the city continued to grow. He is as an independent contractor, he has other clients and other jobs. He told me that he felt like he could provide us with 2 days on site, which I think would make a dramatic difference as far as where we're at in our evolution and growth. And so he will be more available to the city. We also talked about responding to calls and questions that we had in a timely response. That's all within the contract. We also created the job description that gives more, more structure and more formality to what the duties that we need done for the city, and he would fulfill those duties.
Okay, very good. All right, well, this is a
Mayor?
resolution, so,
Are you ready for a motion?
yes.
I'll make a motion this evening that we approve resolution number 22-08, appointing Curtis Roberts as our finance director for Tremonton City.
Okay, we got a motion,
I
second,
would second that one too.
motion by Connie and second by Wes. How do we feel about that? Go ahead.
Oh, Rick, aye.
Can we hold him to like 10 minutes of, no.
Connie Archibald, I'm sorry.
Wes, aye.
All right, motion passes. Very good.
knows that.
Curtis is fun. He's great to have.
He is really good.
Does a good job.
Oh.
Keep us all straight. Okay, discussion and consideration of adopting resolution number 22-09, reaffirming and appointing members to serve on the Tremonton City Historic Preservation Commission. Mark or Brett? Mark or Sean? Do you want-
Yeah, so I will, so as you know, Tremont City does have a Historic Preservation Commission. It's comprised of 5 members. The state, it's SHPO, State History Preservation Office, if I said that right. They do encourage that those people who participate on this commission have some qualifications, professional qualifications. And so you'll note, if you scroll down, you'll see those who currently serve, which includes the building official, just as with his knowledge about building and structures. The city engineer for the same, reason. The position of city manager or city planner is appointed on the commission as well, along with Connie Archibald, who is currently assigned as the city council member assigned to historic preservation. So Mike Linford would be joining the commission, and I've generally the commission has been active as in terms of applying for and obtaining and then completing certified local government grants. And that's the grant that we were able to receive that allowed us to create the National Historic District. We have one currently that's going on, as you know, that is actually rehabilitating some of the Tremont City landmarks, one for agriculture and one on Main Street. And so anyways, we'd welcome Mike to the commission, and obviously he would be a great asset, as you know by his introduction and his relationships and the history of his family here in the valley. So with that, it's up for your consideration.
All right, well,
And by the way, I was going to say he has quite a bit of as far as fulfilling the mission that the state office wants of having people who are well experienced. Mike has quite a bit of experience in construction, project management of construction, architecture. I think he told me $1 billion.
Done $1 billion worth of projects, from dams to stadiums to historic renovations to refineries.
Yeah.
A lot of construction background.
very good. Okay, well, let's, what do we all think?
Is this the Mike Litchford?
This is Mike. Why don't you stand up, Mike, and
Linford.
so we,
I was associating people from Deweyville because there are a bunch of Mike Litchfords out
Yeah,
there.
there is.
not
Linford's there.
not Litchford.
Well, I was putting that too. I was thinking.
Okay. Yeah,
You're loving me with the Deweyville people.
Yeah, I am. And that's not a bad thing because they're good people. So
yeah.
okay, good.
I would love to join the commission if you guys will allow
Okay.
it.
I'd
Oh,
love
yeah,
that.
very much so.
Love that.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution number 2209, reaffirming and appointing Mike on the Historic Preservation Commission.
I'll second it.
Been moved by Rick and seconded by Brett, that we affirm these people for the Tremonton City Historical Preservation Commission. Why don't we start on your side this time, Wes?
Wes, aye.
Connie Archibald, aye.
Brett, aye.
Rick, aye.
Motion passes. All right, very good. Calendar items, are there any items that we need to be discussing? I guess we've got League of Cities and Towns is coming up, the Daddy-Daughter Dance coming up.
You can sign me up for
That
that.
League of Cities and Towns, that's on, do we have a date on that?
Yeah, 19th through the 22nd.
Right there. Okay, very good.
So I'll just plan to sign you all up and get hotel rooms unless I hear.
As far as I know, I
Yeah.
think we all
Please.
want to
Yeah.
go down there, so, yeah.
So the night of the 19th, right? Because it starts early on the
Does it
20th.
actually
20th.
start on the 20th or does it start on the 21st?
Find out for us.
I think it's the
Just as long
20th.
as we have time to drive down there. Okay. Thanks.
Anything else, calendar item? We got the Daddy-Daughter Dance coming up. That's always a great, big, successful thing, and appreciate,
But sometimes it's kind of hard to sit in the back seat the whole way too.
yeah, we appreciate everybody that's involved with that, Zach and his crew. Anything else? Sean, do we have any other items we need to cover with regard to the calendar?
No, not that I can-
We're good to go?
Yeah.
All right,
Oh, actually, you know what? Thanks for mentioning that. I was going to let you know the city council, as you know, attended the planning commission meeting. We did the training with the ombudsman. We're going to have a similar, we're going to have another training session on February 8th. Yes, February 8th. We'll be talking about the general plan, at which time we'll distribute the general plan. And on February 22nd, you'd be welcome to come to Planning Commission meeting again. You're welcome to come to the 8th if you want to learn about general plans and, all the codes relative to general plans. But then on the 22nd, we'll have the land use consultant come.
Have who?
The land use consultant who put the plan together, who helped draft the plan, to give an overview of the general plan. And that'll start the process of, reviewing it and the Planning Commission reviewing it and making their recommendations ultimately to the City Council and, the City Council working through it and ultimately, consideration of adoption. We will, what we're suggesting is holding the draft constant through the review process. So the consultant will be, writing down the recommendations of the City Council, of the Planning Commission and proposed changes that the Planning Commission suggests for your recommendation, but would withhold making those changes until the council, gives the final direction. And that just keeps one draft constant, so there's no confusion about, what the draft is, and it's just a good way to work through the process that they found.
Any suggestions on how we can get some public input on the plan? I mean, I'm wondering how we can distribute it and get some thoughts back on that. from the
Yeah,
public.
absolutely. It'll be made available. Public hearing is part of the review process that the Planning Commission, the City Council could also hold a public hearing. That's optional. The plan, though it was started a year, maybe it's closer to 18 months now. I can't quite recall. I think it was April-ish of 2020, included, public comments. And at the time, we were living through COVID, and that persists. So instead of open houses, they did an online engagement, which I think, frankly, is more effective. I think, as my observation has been, that we've had more participation when we've done online engagement than we've ever had by holding a public meeting in the past, or open houses and inviting people, to come. So we had, there were 3 different tools in which the public interacted and provided input. One was a questionnaire, one was an interactive map, and the other one was a visual preference survey. And so there were, we talked about the branding process. There were over 100 people to, I can't remember what the top one, because they weren't all equal participation, but they ranged from, I think, 100 to close to 200 in any one of those tools
So
used.
the consultant went out and reached out to the public and got some input.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, and just through online,
Okay.
the forums online. So,
And then we can post the general plan on the website so the public can look at it before the meeting.
well, we're just going to distribute it. So I thought it'd be well to do the training and then distribute the plan as part of it, but we'd certainly post it.
But we distribute it. Huh?
Yes, and you can, the appendices, in one of the appendices that summarizes the public input, has the questionnaire, has the visual preference survey, and shows how the public rated, certain images. And so it's a long thought out plan. So there will be a lot to review. I anticipate that it will take, several meetings to work through. And so for Brett's information, of course, the rest of the City Council, but as Brett works with the Planning Commission, the plan would be is that just for cost, or frankly, if the Planning Commission wants them to attend every time in person, they could do that. But what we had contemplated is that the consultant would be here for the kickoff and then join, via Zoom and, participate in the conversations and answer questions as the Planning Commission works through the plan.
Yeah, that's be sufficient.
Okay.
Be sufficient.
Great. Well, okay, let's see, department head reports. Do we have?
Only if you have any questions for me. I'm here.
We're good?
I was reading, just, I was reading something on drought and water management that the state legislature was, I think part of that list of things that they were going through. And one was about park strips. And they were actually thinking of incentivizing and paying people to put those park strips in or remove their park strips and flip the
Yes,
strip.
there's a bill out, and you read it, it really talks a lot about state properties, but they have thrown in some city properties. Now, they haven't said how they're gonna fund, because I know the cities don't have the money to incentivize people to remove their park strip. And when you read into it, I mean, if you look into next year's, they're talking about budgeting $250 million, I think is what the number I've seen. Anyway, but yes, they are to put in more drought-tolerant lawns, shrubbery, xeriscaping, local scaping
Yep.
type activities.
On a
And
city
it's
level
kind of
or
moving
individuals?
along.
On a city level or individuals?
It was probably going to be on individual levels. Now, where the funding's going to come to individual, I don't know yet. It hasn't specified that out. It talked more about state properties than it did cities and towns, but,
Okay.
so, we'll know when the bills all pass and the substitutes have all come in, how it's actually going to play out. So, but yeah, there is one.
Just be curious how much if all citizens in Tremont took out their park strips, how much water could that potentially save? That'd be an interesting statistic to know.
Nick,
Those
And
park
maybe it'd be
strips
worth incentivizing.
kind of wasteful anyway.
They are, because of, they're trapped between two heat zones, the sidewalk and the road. And so it takes a lot of water to try and keep them looking
Yeah.
healthy and happy.
Yeah.
There are several water bills out this year pushed because of the drought issues. So we're just trying to follow along and keep up with what they're looking at, so.
Thank you. Paul. Let's see, council reports. Rick?
I don't have anything.
Okay, Brett? Nothing tonight? Okay, Wes?
Well, is this where I get to say
Where
what
you
a
get
few
to say your
people have
piece.
asked me?
Yep.
What a few people have asked me to say?
Sure.
Is that, or is this Wesley's opinion?
Whatever you'd like to say.
Just a couple things people's asked me about, and I says, I will. I'm not, maybe I'm doing this wrong, but, credit cards for building permits. Do we not allow that? Do they have to write out a check for a building permit?
Yes, they do.
Why?
It's a 3% cost. It's essentially the cost associated with processing a building permit is very expensive for the city. So
I mean, how much is the building permit itself?
10, I'm going to say 10,000, just as a rough number. I mean, when you think about the impact fees that are associated with the impact, or with building permits,
How about a guy that just wants to build a shed that needs a building permit?
you know, maybe 50 to $100. It sort of just depends. I'm just throwing out, I mean, relatively low.
Is it really 3% on a $10,000?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense for smaller purchases. Well, if it's too small, it doesn't make a lot of sense either, because sometimes the processing fees, whether it be the gateway fees or the credit processing fees, are equal to the, essentially, the charge, like, I'm going to say the library, for example, where the fee might be relatively small. In some cases, as a matter of convenience, it makes sense to, to allow and to process those. I think we passed those on, frankly, to the other. Yeah, so,
I mean, a building permit of $10,000 to $15,000 would go up 3% over writing a check to put it on a card.
Could someone do that if they wanted?
At this point, I think we have a limit, but it's probably something that could be done.
I'm thinking more of the little guy that just, like I said, wants to build a shed. It's $50 for a permit, and I'm not a credit card guy, but checks are becoming a thing of the past, and I thought maybe if we set up to a limit, or, I don't know what a typical building permit to add a garage or something like that is, but just a question that was asked. Oh, and water bills. Water bills, we don't pay with credit cards either.
Yeah, they can,
Pay the 3% fee.
they also can, they can also set up automatic withdrawals that just come from the bank accounts.
And there's no,
Fee.
is that a third-party thing?
Yeah, it's the express bill pay.
So how much do we have to pay them?
That's the gateway fee, and I think I want to say it's like 35 cents or something like that per transaction. I think the processing cards, the merchant processing card is the 3% roughly. But I think theirs is a flat fee. It's called the gateway for
Okay.
online, the online portal.
And then I've been asked about some road work, 10th North and 10th West. What's our plan on that? Especially 10th North from 2300 up the hill.
Yeah,
That's
So-
high on our priority list.
yeah.
Okay?
It's on mine.
I
It
told
is.
them I would ask.
Yeah, that's something we need to work on and, yeah.
And more specifically, we're getting an estimate. Chris, our engineer, is putting together an estimate for several road projects. We'll be talking about it through the budget process. We transferred a pretty, a significant amount of money to do some of that work. So now it's just a matter of trying to prioritize.
Seen that on the
That.
thing.
So we'll talk about it more here in the upcoming months, and the council can
Was all I had, just
make the decisions.
one little page of a few concerns. Other than that,
Okay, very good. That's,
While we're on that 10th North thing, just quickly, we could, probably cost a lot of money, but we could trim the road down a little bit too, right? So we don't have as high of a, for them to drive up on. I mean,
I don't know that it would cost us a lot to take it down enough to make it, we try to keep about a 2% from center to edge, so the water runs off. To flatten it down, we still gotta have that slope, so it would probably cost us another fifth of the cost of rebuild the road to take, because what also happens is when you take that material down, you gotta bring in the like material to make sure you got enough granular borrow, which are the big rocks, and then enough of the road base, which we do 8 and 8 of both. So when you remove it, you gotta bring it back in to make sure you keep enough to hold the weight of the vehicles. Which up there, we worry about, even though we say truck traffic should be limited, it's still on there, and we try to.
Okay.
handle that. Did I
Okay.
answer kind of your question?
Then
It
it-
will make the cost of the road go up.
then we could,
And it solves it on one side, but on the other side, it causes more of a embankment. I mean, but, kind of depends on how much we need to take it down or would like to take it down.
that would be widened as we go up the hill there. That would,
That's- The goal is to widen, it's a 66-foot wide right of way. And so we would build it to our new standard for that, to handle it with 2 traffic lanes and a turn lane and no on-street parking, curb, gutter, and sidewalk. And if you remember when we looked before, it was gonna be between $4.5 and $5 million to go that distance to rebuild that road.
could it
all
be
the way to the end,
All the way from 2300
to the freeway.
to the state road shed.
Yeah.
To the on-ramps, basically.
okay. Could be done in sections though, couldn't it? We don't have to, yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments at this point? All right, well, Sean, anything else?
No.
Hey, I guess we'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we adjourn. Brett and Rick, appreciate everybody for coming out tonight.
Aye. All in favor, aye.
Oh, all in favor, aye.
I.
Yeah, we gotta make
Yeah,
sure
we gotta
that
make sure we
they're
make this
okay
official,
too.
okay. All right, all right. Good deal. I've never known anybody to say no.
No.